Hey family, Marcellus Shepard, the bass man here, host of the 12th annual Capital Jazz SuperCruise. I am sitting here with a brother that is just, there aren't enough words to describe him, but I'll start by saying this. You cannot start a conversation about contemporary jazz and not mention his name. He is a 8-time Grammy nominee, almost 20 albums to his credit, multi-instrumentalist, a brother who is just a bad saxophonist and much more. And he happens to be my good frat brother, the one and only Gerald Albright. Welcome to the Capital Jazz SuperCruise.
Thank you, bass man. Good to be here, man.
Yes, sir. We are glad to have you.
Thank you.
So, who have you enjoyed so far on the cruise?
I've enjoyed everybody, man. You know, this is a very unique cruise for me because usually I jump on and go straight to work.
Right.
But me and the family have had the blessing of just being able to, for 4 or 5 days straight, go around and see the people on the big stage,
Yeah.
the little corners of the small clubs, and
Right,
it's
right.
just hearing everybody. And it's been musically nutritious for me, man.
Right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've been seeing you all over the place. The brother's not shy and checking out shows and taking pictures and hanging out with people, which is lovely. But congrats to you on a few fronts. Number one, stepping out there and extending your brand with the creation of the Albright label.
Thank you.
What was that, 2 years ago now?
Going on 3 years, actually.
Going on 3 years
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that.
And then taking it a step further, you just released your second album on your own label,
Yes.
30, which is in celebration of 30 years in the music biz from his from his debut album. What was that?
Yeah.
Just Between Us.
Just Between Us, 1987. So it's
Lord
actually
have
30
mercy.
plus years, man.
30 plus
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Incredible. What's the biggest lesson that you have learned as a recording artist in those 30 years?
I think the biggest lesson has been you really can't rush the music. You know, when record companies say, okay, you got to have a record out by March of this year, you know.
Right.
And the worst thing in the world is to be in the studio looking at your watch and looking at the calendar like, okay, we got to get all these 10 songs done
Right.
by this date. I think for me, that experience has been counterproductive.
Okay.
Creativity is such that, you just have to let it flow. And it's like a fine wine,
Yeah, gotta age it
nothing
over
before it's time, right?
Right.
So I think that's one of the bigger lessons that I've learned. So with my independent label, I'm able to create the songs at the pace that I need to create them to bring out the best and genuine Gerald that I possibly can bring out.
Right.
Yeah.
And most people have known you as the great saxophonist that you've been over the years, but now in doing your own projects, you're stepping out there a little bit more as a multi-instrumentalist. On your last CD, you pretty much played everything on the album.
Pretty much. I enjoy different instruments. I love playing on top of the rhythm section, but I love playing bass guitar inside the rhythm section. Something
Right.
about the groove between bass and drums is just second to none. And years ago, when I was in college, I went to see the Brothers Johnson, who of course had one of my favorite bass players, Louis Johnson. And I heard him play, man, and I said, I want to do that.
Right.
And I borrowed a bass from a guy on campus, and I sat in my dorm room and just kind of taught myself how to play. And shortly thereafter, I was playing with a little group around the college, for little Sadie Hawkins Day dances and all that kind of stuff, But it became an integral part of my musical arsenal. And I love the bass guitar. So,
Yeah.
and then as well as all the saxophones and flute. And for songwriting purposes, I play keyboards.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Nice. So the album 30, of course, in celebration of your 30 plus years, and you're revisiting some of your favorite tunes from your albums over the years.
Exactly.
Tell us about some of those.
Well, like you mentioned earlier, we have 19 albums, and it was hard to pick from, we actually went through 12 albums and handpicked certain songs that were my favorite.
How long did that take?
It took a couple of weeks. We started with a master list, and we just
Gotcha.
started to reduce it down to the 10 or 11 that we wanted to do. And it was a combination of my favorites and some of my audience's favorites.
Right.
And what we did, we took those original tunes and totally rearranged them and brought them up to date to 2018. And it was a fun process. It was co-produced by my dear friend Chris Big Dog Davis.
The master.
Yeah, who produces everybody.
Yes.
He's also in my live band as well. So
Nice.
I get the best of both worlds with him. So,
Yeah, he's out here running around the ship
yes,
as well.
he is.
Man.
Yes, he is.
So, okay, so almost 20 albums, 8 Grammy nominations, your own label. You have a family that's doing incredible things. Of course, your daughter, Selena, incredible vocalist. She has, what, 2 or 3 albums out now?
Yeah, she has 2 albums out at this point.
Your wife, Glennis,
Yes.
she's out there shaking and baking, has her own waffle mix,
She had a coating mix.
coating mix for
Yeah.
fried chicken. And,
Yeah.
and then you have your son, amazing graphic artist out there doing work.
Yes.
You got to be happy with all of that, man.
I am so happy, man, and very, very blessed to be the father of such a wonderful family. We're very, very close family.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the ultimate blessing for me. It really is to wake up and be the father of this particular family.
And you know, speaking of fatherhood, Gerald is the godfather of this business. Brian Mills was just in here from Secret Society. He came over to Gerald, and Gerald just went like this. Brian got down on a knee and kissed the brother's hand. It was the craziest thing
I don't really remember that part.
But you know, I
Yeah.
mean, how does it feel being one of the elders of the village now, and having so many people look up to you for advice, for guidance, for mentorship?
It's wonderful, and I take it as the highest compliment musically for me. You know, I look at it as just I'm going to work
Right.
and trying to be the best Gerald that I can be, and both as a writer, producer, and an artist. But I was that guy at a young age looking at, you know, guys like Stanley Turrentine and Eddie Harris and Ronnie Laws, all these guys, for that same knowledge.
Right.
So it's a cyclical thing, and I'm happy and very honored to, you know, whenever they approach me, you know, I try to give them the best knowledge that I can.
Right.
But you know, I'm existing on the shoulders of some mentors that I truly love, you know, and we're just trying to keep the legacy going.
Is there anybody out there in particular that you see as the next generation of saxophonists that you've kind of identified as, you know what, this person has it and they are going to be on their way in this business?
Definitely. I look at a guy like Marcus Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
I look at a guy, Eric Darius, does a really, really good job. I'm trying to think. On the other side, on the female side, Tia Fuller is just
up for a Grammy right now.
Yeah,
she's
absolutely.
amazing.
Just phenomenal player, and you know, those 3 come to mind initially. But there's a whole, in my travels, I see a whole lot of players that are not even noted yet, that are just simmering right now, that are going to come to the surface soon, and that's a beautiful thing.
Before we get out of here, you did a project with my brother from another mother, Will Downing.
Yes, sir.
Pleasures of the Night. If you're not familiar, get familiar. It was the best of both worlds and blending contemporary sounds and straight ahead sounds. Is there any possibility we can get a part 2 of Pleasures of the Night?
Well, that possibility is always a possibility. You know, it's interesting because Will and I don't tour nearly as much as we used to, but we're still dear friends, and every now and then we'll wind up on a jazz festival together, doing a show together, and we look at one another and go, man, you know, we need to get that second chapter.
Magic. Yeah, man.
Because there is a magic, you know, and it also stems from a long time friendship from the early 90s. You know, we went on what was called the Rhythm of Love tour back then with Phil Perry and Vesta, and sometimes Rochelle Farrell, and it was a nice hang. So a wonderful friendship stemmed from that, and then we decided to go in the studio to do Pleasures of the Night. So there might be a chapter 2. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well,
Let me call Will and see what's
call Will and make it happen, please.
Yeah.
Gerald, go ahead and put your website out there so folks can be able to keep in contact with you and get the latest album, 30.
Absolutely. It's my name it's www.geraldalbright.com, and I'm very interactive on social media.
Yes.
My Twitter name is G.A. Albright. Just keyword Gerald Albright, all my stuff comes up. And if you don't find it there, just refer to my website at geraldalbright.com, and all the social media information is there, as well as contact information.
The Godfather, one of the best in the business to do it, still out here making great music, over 30 years in the business as a recording leader, the one and only Gerald Albright. Thank you for sailing with us on the SuperCruise.
Pleasure, man.
Yes,
My pleasure.
sir.
Thank you.